Well, g'day everybody and welcome to On the Road. Now, I'm pretty excited about this because I've wanted to play this for quite a long time. It's got mixed reviews on the Steam Workshop, but what appealed to me in this game is some of the company management aspects and the cargo management aspects. So I thought that I would give it a go. Now, this is an introduction to this, and I will eventually do a series. But let's start by loading up our profile. I've created a company. I've had a little bit of a drive. I've driven the heavy rigid. I haven't done any driving on the semi truck yet, which we will do at some point anyway, just to test it out. But I thought that I might introduce this series and introduce this game to everybody. Despite the mixed reviews, so far what I've seen with my testing is it's not too bad. I don't mind it. Alright, so first thing that I want to do is, and I've got, where are we? We'll just jump in the truck for a sec, and I've got my track IR set up. So the first thing that I want to do is actually start this engine up. There we go. That's it. Alright. And the reason why I want to do that is up here, if I hit Z and zoom up, you can see that we have a trucking card, which basically, I think in Europe, I'm not sure exactly how these work, but in Europe, these guys, this is how they log their times. So if I insert that card and I confirm that I am going to rest, then I should be able to get a rest period. Now, I think you're only allowed to drive approximately 10 hours or something like that. 9 hours, as you can see in the bottom right hand side there. So you're allowed to drive for 9 hours and then you have to rest. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out of this vehicle, and to do that I hit the right click. So as you can see, this is our truck here. Right, it doesn't have my company name on it, which is Idiom Logistics. However, there are some downloadable skins on Steam Workshop, which I have downloaded, and for some reason it hasn't saved that out. Now, the next thing to do is, if we go into the map, you can see that at the moment I'm in Rostock. Now, my base, home base, is in Hamburg down here, and I did a test trip running up to Rostock yesterday when I got this. So just to give it a bit of a test out. Now, what you can do is, you can see you've got companies here, and you can click on those companies and bring up jobs. I think we're currently at Worldwide Shipping, so I will bring up Worldwide Shipping, and you can see here that we have different jobs. So 3 stacked wood from Rostock to Bremen. Oh, let's see. And as you can see, it brings up a checkered flag to your destination. So I'm looking for something relatively short for us to do. Bremen's considered, maybe Berlin. Berlin might be the one to do. So what we can do is we can click on that, and it asks us if we want to accept our assignment. So I'll click yes. Now, I will talk about this game once we get the truck loaded up and we get all that stuff done and we get on the road. So okay, first things first, I am going to put this in reverse, and as you can see behind us, there is a point there in which we need to reverse. So I might be able to, there we go. So we'll reverse into this point here, and we'll talk about driving physics and all that type of stuff again as we get on the road. But we'll run through this initial setup. We've we've accepted our job. We accepted a job where I dropped off yesterday, which is where we are now. So what we need to do is reverse into the loading dock here. And these are some of the aspects that I actually kind of like about it. We'll stop there. And we'll put that in neutral. And we will get out. And this is some of the stuff that actually appeals to me about this. Is we're reversing into the loading dock, as you can see. We'll go over here to the dispatcher. And this is our job here, pick up bricks, which we're taking to down to Berlin. And we will, we've got to sign that, so let's just sign and click OK. And now we need to open up our cargo doors. And as you can see, our truck is empty. We open up our cargo doors and they will load the truck. So here are the bricks that we need to pick up, so we will click OK. And they will load that. Now unfortunately the cargo in the truck is it's always the same. It's always the same so far. There is no like, you know, you would have thought that picking up bricks, then we would have had a cargo of bricks in there, but we have 3 pallets, which isn't too many, but it's a job nonetheless. So we'll close that off. There we go. And jump in our truck. And I'll just get comfortable here and we will head off. Now you can see on the GPS there the direction in which we have to go. Now using the F1 button, I can close that little window there because we already have a GPS on the dash. Now there's 2 different types of truck that you get in this game. There's the Scania and the MAN truck, so an MAN. Okay, so what we need to do as well, which I did forget, is we need to change this up here to driving mode. So we'll insert card, we'll confirm mode switch, okay, and it's driving now. So as you can see, we're in driving mode now. So now that will record our driving for our trip and how many hours we're actually on the road, which is a pretty cool thing. I actually quite like that. So we'll get out of here and we will follow this GPS and get on our way and get on the road. And then we can start talking about truck physics, etc., things like that. So let's get out here. I'm using my G29 in this. It was pretty easy to set up. No real drama. There is no settings on it for sensitivities on brake pedals and things like that. There is no manual option for the transmission. It's all automatic. Yeah, pretty easy to set up. Pretty easy to set up your buttons and your keystrokes and stuff like that. So one of the things you will notice about this particular game and sim is that there we go, is that it is looks like we're going around here. The cities are large as opposed to something like, and I do apologize, I am going to make some comparisons to American Truck Sim and Euro Truck Sim. However, I'm not putting these games in the same class, in a sense of ETS. Euro Truck Sim has been around forever, and SCS are very, very experienced in what they do, so it wouldn't be fair to put this publisher in the same category. But as you can see, in comparison to, say, ETS or ATS, the cities in this are very large. We are currently driving through the city now, and there's a lot of roadways. There's small roads, large roads, anything that you would normally find in the city, as well as suppliers and all that type of stuff. And there's a Fernbus Simulator sign over there. Now, that's probably one comparison that I can make. The driving physics and driving this vehicle in this game is If I had to compare it, I obviously wouldn't compare the driving to ETS, but I would compare it to if you've driven Fernbus Simulator or you have driven Tourist Bus Simulator, then the physics and the driving are very, very similar. They're definitely on par, so which in all honesty isn't too bad. I mean, I'm not sure whether people would get in here and perhaps fanboys and say, oh, this is terrible, this is nothing like American Truck Simulator or nothing like Euro Truck Simulator, but the point is it's not. There are elements in this game that I would absolutely love to see in American Truck Simulator or European Truck Simulator. There's elements in European Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator that I would absolutely love to see in this game. One of the things that probably disappoints me a little bit about this is, let's just pull out here, is sound. It does on the odd occasion, and you probably will hear it in this, it has a little sound glitch where you lose the sound for just a microsecond. And we also have scenery glitches like that. Now I've got everything set really, really high on this, so I could probably remove some of that glitching if I was to actually reduce the graphics from Ultra and all that type of stuff. Which I will sort of eventually fiddle with, and there was one of those sound glitches just there. So ambient sounds outside of the cab as you're driving are very good when you get other vehicles driving beside you and stuff like that. That's pretty good. I really enjoy that. I'll just put this cruise control on. Now, as you can see on the GPS, the yellow lines, they were a little bit confusing for me at one point in time, like when I first had a bit of a test drive in here. But once you work it out, it's okay. What those yellow lines are is they are actually lanes. So as you can see at the moment, we're driving, the green line is on the left lane and we're driving in the right lane. That's why we're driving on a yellow line. And if I bring this back up, it'll probably help a little bit. So if I was driving in the left lane, I would be driving on that green line. So this window is a lot more basic than what we're used to, in the sense of all we really have in there is the GPS and the amount of time until we need to sleep. So and our speed and the current speed limit. No cargo details, no load details, but to access those details, and this does pause it, even though the sound keeps going, then we have a tablet here. And as you can see, we've completed that job. We have logistics. Our current job here is delivering these crates, which is where we're going. This is our map here. Our vehicles that we have are the Scania R2013 4x2 rigid box, or as I would call it in this country, a heavy rigid. We also have the semi-trailer. And it has a cattle. It actually has the semi actually has a cattle trailer with it. We have an employees area here, and as you can see, currently I'm the only employee. That is not what I look like, but it was just one of the available options to select. So we can employ other people to drive our trucks and stuff, which is actually pretty cool. Finances here, and I haven't been through any of this at the moment, but our company value at the moment is €158,000. You can see total profits and all that type of stuff, and then there's a very comprehensive help system here, complete with videos, which is actually pretty cool. So basically that's we receive our emails here. We've got all our details down here. We can have one extra employee above ourselves. So yeah, so we'll get back onto the road here. I will take one sip of my coffee if you can give me a moment. Now physics, I feel the steering on these vehicles is it's responsive. I think the physics on the vehicle, they feel really good. The vehicle feels like you would be driving a heavy rigid, and I have driven a lot of heavy rigids in my life for work and stuff like that, and it does kind of feel like that. You do need to take care. I think the truck rides over the bumps and around the freeway and around the streets very similar to what they do in real life, which is something that really appeals to me. I'm not sure how the semis, or in America I think you call them tractors, I'm not sure how they perform because I haven't driven one yet, because the appeal for me in this game is driving the heavy rigids, because it's something a little bit different. I can go into ATS, I can go into ETS2, and I can drive as many semi trucks and trailers as I want, and I really enjoy doing that. So the appeal for this one was the ability to drive heavy rigid vehicles and some of the company management and stuff like that, which we do have in ETS as well, and ATS, my apologies. So I think one of the downfalls of this is as I said, the sound. When you are sitting at a set of traffic lights, or your vehicle is sitting there idling, it's not, the sounds aren't overly loud. Sometimes I found yesterday when I was giving it all a test out and stuff, I was wondering whether the vehicle was on or not when I was sitting there idling because of the sound. But what else can I tell you? Fuel. One of the other appealing things about this, and you can see that there's just a lot of standard trucks around and stuff, and it would be nice to see more of a variety of AI trucks and stuff around, but and some different colours and stuff. But as you could see there, then they're all pretty standard. One of the other things that really appeals to me about this game is the ability to get out of your truck and walk around. Now we've seen that when we got to the loading dock and we went and seen the dispatcher, signed our documentation. But you also need to do that when it comes to fueling up. So you pull up in a service station, and if we pass the service station, I will stop in and grab some fuel. We don't really need any, but I want to give you a bit of an example of how that works. And that's a pretty cool thing, is to be able to get out of your truck and walk around the same way that in Tourist Bus Sim you can get out of your bus, you can walk around, you can have a look around. So that gives a sort of another aspect to the whole simulation experience. And that was one of that's probably at the top of my wish list on Euro Truck Sim and American Truck Sim, is the ability to actually get out of your vehicle and have a bit of a wander around, because some of the scenery and some of the places you see in ATS and ETS are absolutely incredible. And it'd be nice to be able to get out and do a wander and take some screenshots and stuff like that. So I'm just going to close this window because we don't need it. One of the other things that we should talk about in this game is the AI traffic. We're all used to absolutely mad AI traffic, and it's no different in here. I haven't had a car pull in front of me as yet. I haven't had an accident as yet, and I've done a couple of trips. But what I have noticed is the variation in AI traffic speed, especially when you get out on a highway or a freeway like this one. As you can see, that guy will absolutely fly past us, and he won't change lanes. He'll just slow down, and he'll basically sit in that lane for the eternity of his trip, I think, because I haven't seen anybody change lanes yet. I might not have been keeping my eyes open as much as I probably should have, but other than merging traffic and stuff, I haven't seen any of the AI actually change lanes. Like that truck up there has been sitting in the left-hand lane for a very long time, and trucks are limited on here to 80 kilometers an hour. However, some of the AI trucks do tend to speed. Yeah, so the AI is interesting. Certainly haven't had any of those merging issues or accident issues that we might experience in some of the other simulators. So, but that could definitely be tweaked. Now, this game is relatively old. You know, it's been on my radar for a considerable amount of time. But I finally decided that it was probably time to get it, give it a test out, and then do a series on it. And I do plan on doing a series on this as well. So as I said, our company name is Idiom Logistics, and that's the playthrough that we will do. So alright, what I will do is if I just freeze that there. My microphone's in the way of some of my keypad buttons. I do need to sort my layout out on my recording desk. We've got a fuel station coming up, so I will see you when we get to this fuel station, and we will pull in. Okay, so we're just pulling into the fuel station here. The brakes can be a little bit touchy on this. We will pull into this side here, and I haven't checked the other side of the truck. I'm not sure whether the other side of the truck actually has a fuel tank on it as well or not. However, filling up on this side, which is what I have done, it's okay. Now, there is different buttons to turn the truck off, as opposed to turning the truck on, so you do use different keys for that. Let's jump out of here. Now, as you can see, we are at the service station. I have seen in the cities, I have seen AI traffic in the pulling into the service station. Here I haven't. So there's we've got a fuel tank on that side, and we've got a fuel tank on this side. So we go up at here and we hold down our... Oh, I was a little bit close to that. We hold down our left button, and we have filled up there. So you hold down your left button, and you keep that held down until your truck is filled up. You don't have to fill it up completely or anything like that. And then it charges you once you walk away. Now, as you can see, that handle there for the truck is what the highlight is for us to get into the truck. Now, this is where it's different. So ignition up. So we've got two stages of ignition. We've got stage one, which is clicking the Q button, which is there. Now I've got that mapped to my G27, and there is a sound glitch there. And then you hit the same key again to start the vehicle. And as you can see, now you can probably hear now that it's idling very, very, very quietly. I have messed with the sound settings and stuff on it. However, I haven't been able to get the truck sound any louder than what it is. So, right, off we go. We can look out the back there, and we will head off. If we bring up the map, we can see what stage we're at. We're not too far out of Berlin now and out of our drop-off point. And as you can see, the city is actually quite large, and you can drive around all of these streets. So that's a pretty awesome thing to do. We'll close that off, and here's the trucks. Here's all the AI trucks. They're all relatively standard. They have like worldwide shipping is where we took this load from. It would have been nice to see some variety. I mean, everything's a bit bland, isn't it? It's black, or it's blue, or it's white, or it's grey. So it'd be nice to see some difference there. Okay, now one thing that I have noticed is that in my previous play I did set a skin from I did set a downloadable skin from the workshop as my default skin, and that skin looked absolutely fantastic. However, it hasn't saved that. It's put the default skin back on my truck, so that's one of the things that I would like to see. The other thing that I did notice was in most games your quick save is the F5 key. The F5 key in this is actually quick load, and it loads your last save point. The F4 is the quick load. I'm sure that I could change those keys, but you know, things that we're used to in most games, some of the things are a little bit different in this, so it's just worth keeping that in mind. But so far I am enjoying this from what I have played, and I will be doing a series on it. It certainly hasn't unimpressed me, and there are all of those elements that I do actually enjoy. Getting out to fuel your truck, getting out and signing your documentation when you pick up and drop off loads, backing into the loading dock, and all that type of stuff. It's all good. It's all simulation interaction, and if you like to role play a little bit when you play your games, then that's a really good aspect of it. So, all right, I will see you when we get to Berlin. Well, there's a little bit of an AI rear end there. Don't know whether you've seen that. One of the other things, we do have an exhaust brake on this. The one thing that really annoys me probably about that is that there's no indication on the dashboard as to whether your exhaust brake is engaged or not, and the displays on the dashboard are pretty basic. In ATS and ETS, you can hit the I key to change your display to digital, or to get your information on your trip information and stuff like that. This unfortunately does not have that option, or at least I cannot find that option. So that's worth noting as well. The other thing is that one of the things that I do really like about I was in the wrong lane there. One thing that I really do like about this whole lane, yellow line lane system on the GPS is the fact that you can see at any time what lane you need to be in, especially when you're coming up on freeways, when you're coming up to exits and stuff like that, and that makes it a little bit easier to be prepared for turn-offs and stuff like that. So that's probably another good aspect. But you can see Berlin in front of us there. Again, the cities are rather large in this, and I think that's a fantastic aspect of the game as well. So I will see you when we get closer to dropping off. Okay, we're not too far from our drop-off point now. One thing you will notice is that the cities, despite being large like they are, they do seem relatively uninhabited. We do have traffic, but probably nowhere near as much traffic as you would expect to see in a city. I am not sure whether that is time dependent. It's currently 4:29 p.m. So I would have thought that we would have come across quite a bit of traffic at that time. Not overly sure whether that increases as whether it changes time dependent during the day, but we'll soon find that out now. As you can see, I need to be in the left lane there, as you can see by the green line on that GPS. So despite being large, they certainly don't seem as populated as they actually should be. So it would be nice to see more people walking around the streets. I can't recall whether I've seen any AI people walking around the streets or whether it's all just traffic. But as you can see, we haven't seen anybody as yet. So alright, following that GPS line, again, that makes it very handy because we know that we're supposed to be in this lane. The traffic light system seems pretty good in here. It's there's not immediate and quick changes on the traffic lights, which makes it probably a little bit more realistic than in comparison to ATS and ETS. So, and we're turning here. Okay. At this point in time, I can't really see any difference in driving physics with a load in the vehicle, as opposed to without a load in the vehicle. It doesn't seem to make much effect on the vehicle itself. So, alright, around the corner we go. And one of the things is I need to remember that I'm not driving a semi-truck. So I've been taking corners really wide and stuff, as you would if you had a semi-trailer on the back. But all right, you can turn those while I'm learning to drive this. You can turn those notifications that come up in the left side there, in the left bottom corner. You can turn those off. I've left them on for now, just for an example and stuff. However, I will probably, let's just not hit that wall, I will probably turn them off at some point. So I need to back this beast into here. There we go. Come on. Stick my head out the window. I do like the smoothness of when you're sticking your head out the window. The smoothness of the motion and stuff like that is actually pretty cool. All right, sounds don't change, as you can see. Sounds don't change when you stick your head out the window, which you would think that they would, but that's part and parcel of the sound here. We've got a little bit of a sleeper. The inside of the cabins aren't super detailed, but the dash and all that type of stuff certainly is. And also when you get into let's get out of here while we're doing this. Also when you get into specific times of the day, when you've got sunlight coming in your cab and stuff, it actually plays really well across your cab. So alright, so this is delivery of bricks to the logistic hub in Berlin, which we've done. Our signature's already in there, and we will click OK. And we need to open the cargo doors, which I did forget to do, so we'll move this forward a little. Let's see. We'll just stop him there. We'll jump out of the truck. Open these cargo doors. Again, you know, another aspect of this that is actually pretty cool is to be able to do that. You can't, I have tried walking up in the truck, you can't walk up in the truck. When it comes to hooking up trailers and stuff, you do have to do that manually, which again is a pretty cool aspect as well. So let's reverse this beast in. Okay. And there's our job complete. So we got 706 reputation for that, and we got 6,365 euro. There was no damage, no reputation reduction, and no price reduction on that. So we'll click OK on that. I will move this truck forward. Now I do have these trucks set up as for realism, as opposed to arcade. There is an arcade setting in there. We'll just park this guy here. There we go. Put that on. Turn our lights off, if I can remember which one's the lights off, which is there, and turn our engine off as well. Okay, so we'll jump out of the truck. Close these doors off. I might actually just leave them open for now. And that's it. Job complete. So this is on the road. We will be doing a series on this. This was kind of a first look on some of my ideas about it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you follow along for the series. Hit like if you like this one, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.